So if you're like me and you absolutely despise the fact that you have to keep paying every single month for accessing Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Photoshop, then this video is for you, because I'll share how I completely ditched Adobe products in favor of Luminar Neo, my go-to software for photo editing nowadays. Now, this video is sponsored by Luminar Neo, but I want to heavily emphasize the fact that I've been using this software for the past maybe 6 months every single time I need a photo to be edited, because this is my go-to software now. I don't have Lightroom or Photoshop anymore. I don't use them, I don't like them, and I prefer to stick to something that I like, which in this case is Luminar Neo. And that's the reason why I'm making this video, because it's something that I genuinely like, I use it, and I want to recommend it to you as well. So what is Luminar Neo? So it's a software for photo editing, regardless whether you're editing drone shots, regular shots, product shots, or portraits or landscapes. Whatever you want to shoot, you can edit it in Luminar Neo. And it's all slider based. So there are sliders for pretty much every single feature that the software has. And depending on your taste, you can change it to 100% or set it to 0%. You can just slide it around, see what this feature does, and see whether you like it. So this makes it super easy, convenient, and it pretty much has no entry barrier for anyone. So everyone can use this software. It's a very simple thing, and you can see what you're doing straight away without even knowing what you're tweaking exactly. You can see how it's affecting your image, and if you like it, you can keep it. If you don't like it, you can just set it back to 0 and move on with the next thing. So the convenience of using these sliders is great. So you have all sorts of different tools and features for basic photo editing, but you also have a lot of AI features that help you like relight your scene, completely change the look of your photos. You have so many different presets, so many different moods and filters, and basically all sorts of things that I will demonstrate a little bit later in the video. But also you have AI features such as object removal. You can use generative fill to add new objects to your photos, so you can really tweak them according to your taste and achieve great looking results in a matter of seconds. So this is the reason why Luminar Neo has completely transformed my workflow into something that doesn't rely on any other photo editing software. This is my only photo editing software, and that's what I genuinely use every single time I need to edit a photo. On top of that, they are running a sweet Black Friday deal that I have a personal discount on, which I'll tell you a little bit later in the video as well. So let's check it out. Let's see what Luminar Neo is looking like. So this is the interface of Luminar Neo. It's a pretty straightforward interface that's easy to understand for everyone. On the left hand side, we have all of our different folders, and we can even create new ones and add some specific albums. In the middle, we have all of our photos. This is the catalog with all the photos that we have added, and we can rate them, we can set them as favorites, we can remove them from our catalog and do all sorts of different things. On the right hand side, we have more information about the photo, different settings that were used to take that photo. We have generative tools such as Gen Erase, Gen Swap, and Gen Expand, which we'll touch upon very soon, because those are some great AI tools that can help you create or remove objects in a matter of seconds. We have merge tools such as HDR merge, which for drone pilots is a must-have. We have focus stacking, panorama stitching, which again for aerial photos is a must. If you're shooting just regular single photos, you can stitch them into a panorama by just dragging them and dropping them here. And finally, we have features such as upscale and photo restoration. These are very specific use cases that personally I haven't had the need to use yet, but it's great that we have those options here. Finally, we have our presets and our edit tab. If we want to quickly add a preset to our photo, we have a plethora of different presets that we can choose between depending on the category of the photo that we have taken, which of course is not mandatory to be used in exactly the same category that the photo is. Even in close-ups, for example, we can find something that will look great on our photo. We just need to go and find something that looks great to us. Now, let's say focus is something that I like. We can set the intensity and just see what difference it makes. With everything here, we have sliders. So this is the best thing about Luminar Neo. Everything is controlled by sliders, and editing is a very subjective thing, so it's really easy to see what you're doing by just adjusting the sliders and see if what is happening on the screen is actually something that you like. If you don't like it, you can always reset it and go back to what it was before. But for now, let's just stick to 70% in focus preset, and we're good with that. And if we want, we can copy all the adjustments that we have made from this photo. So let's say copy adjustments, we can paste it to this photo, for example, and then we'll have the same preset applied to this photo as well. Before, after, we have a very small amount of details being added with this preset, but we can easily go to the edit tab and access all of our different tools here on the right hand side to really edit this photo as much as we want. Now, before we get to that, I want to go back to the catalog here and pick one photo to show you some of the generative tools that we have here in Luminar Neo, because as an ex-Adobe user, I was thinking that this will be the #1 thing that I'll be missing from Photoshop, for example, but it's great that we have it here. So let's just find a photo. I had some photos here of my car. Let's just pick, for example, this one and go to Generate. We have a couple of things that I don't like here on the photo. Let's just say we don't like this piece of garbage here and this tire that are just bugging me so much. So if we select that, just brushing over the things that we don't like, we can click erase. That's it, it's no longer there. Now if we go to before and after, like I said, it's impossible to tell. Even if we zoom in to 300% and we slide a little bit, we can see since this is in focus and this was not in focus, even our adjustments are made in a way that they blend in super well with the photo, and this area, the new one, is also not in focus. Now the next thing I want to show you is called Gen Swap. Let me open this photo from the DJI Mini 5 Pro. As you can see, it's a sunset photo, so obviously the focus of the image is right here in the middle where the sun is setting, and we have the rest of the city here at the bottom portion of the photo. So let's do something a little bit crazy and press Gen Swap. I will paint over this section of the photo. Let's just select this. It's a tiny portion of the photo, but let's just say a harbor with a few boats, and then press swap. Let's see what AI can do for us in this situation. And there it is. So I purposely left a portion here on top, so this can be created kind of inside, so it's not connected to the water here. So it does look pretty good and very convincing, I would say, because it also uses the lighting that we already have on the photo in this specific area. If we want, we can do something more. So let's just paint over this. I'll just do something crazy, which obviously is not something that you do every day, but let's just mask this and say we want a skyscraper, and let's see what AI will do for us. And again, we can see, although this looks ridiculous, but it's actually quite realistic, I would say. So if we go again and zoom in a little bit, we will see that, let's just reset our selection, but we can see that the lighting here is spectacular because it's a little bit darker towards the base of the skyscraper, and then the lighting changes to accommodate for the actual lighting of the photo, which is during sunset. Now let me show you something else. Here we have this drone shot with the Mavic 4 Pro in Transfăgărășan, Romania. This is one of the best driving roads, but we have something super annoying which you might be able to notice straight away, and this is the power lines here. This is something super annoying for me, so of course we can remove it very quickly. So we can go to the edit tab. We have all of the different features that we can access within Luminar Neo, but here, for example, we only need to go into, where is it? Erase. There we go. Into the erase mode, we can click on remove power lines and check out this magic. And boom, there it is. The power lines have been removed. If we go to before and after, you will see these super annoying power lines are now gone. So from here on now, we can adjust anything we like within the photo with all of these different sliders here. We have our Essentials tab, which allows us to quickly develop our photo in terms of changing the exposure. And like I said, everything is controlled by sliders, so we can add some contrast, increase the shadows a little bit, and drop the highlights. We can add curves, control the blacks and whites. We have so many things that we can control here. And the way to use this is just by trial and error. I am a big fan of this, to just seeing what everything does and see what you like, because sometimes you don't have to know all the specific things. You can just play around and see what you like. For example, we have the HSL tab. I'm a big fan of this specific feature since we have full control over the colors that we have here. We can change the green to become a little bit more towards the yellow side of things, or we can change the yellow towards the green. But we can reset everything, and we can play with not only the hue but the saturation and the luminance of all the different colors here. For example, if we say we have too much blue here, we can drop the saturation of the blue just a tiny bit, just so we can have a little bit more mood in our photo. And speaking about mood, the next thing I'm a big fan of is the mood tab, which you can easily get into and choose a different LUT that will be applied to your photo. And we have, again, so many different ways of completely changing the mood of your photo simply by going through the different options that we have. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm a big fan of this one. Yes, the tritone, the smoky, the sepia. But for now, let's just say, yeah, the tritone is something that I'm a big fan of. This washed out, muted mood, I'm a big fan of that. And you can easily adjust how much you want from it. So just a tiny bit is fine. You can add a little bit more contrast and saturation or take it away. But here is just what we did with before and after. Just a tiny bit of removing that saturation and the vibrance to create that cold looking look that I'm personally a big fan of. Something else that I really like when it comes to Luminar Neo is the cloud-based editing, meaning that you can start the edit on one of your devices and finish it on the other one. So whether that's a phone, a tablet, or a computer, they all sync between each other, and you can easily switch between devices to continue with your edit. And finally, one of the most important things, the price. Luminar Neo is a one-time purchase, meaning you don't have to keep paying for it every single month, which is my absolute nightmare. And especially during Black Friday, you pay a lot less than the usual price. And I have a special 10% discount code, which you can apply on top of that heavily discounted price for Black Friday. So make sure you check the link in the description and use the code DRN10 for additional 10% off of your purchase for Luminar Neo and get that sweet deal for Black Friday. I'm really curious to hear what you think about Luminar Neo. Is it something that you would personally use? Let me know down below. And also, what are your thoughts on AI editing in 2026? Is it something that should be forbidden, or is it something that is an absolute must for any software out there that is going to help you and save you time? What are your thoughts on that? Let me know down below as well. Thank you so much for watching today's video. This is Mike from Drone Supremacy. I'll catch you in the next one very, very soon. Ciao.